Okie dokie, so now I'll show you guys how to wash the dishes the Lamma Island way. Now, Lamma Island, like many islands in Hong Kong, it's very mountainous. It's very mountainous. It's not the kind of mountains that has hill, that has snow. So you don't really have enough room to build. You don't really have enough room to build reservoirs. You do have some reservoirs. Lamma Island itself has a small reservoir to it. This is to collect rainwater, and then it's chemically processed. So I would think Hong Kong water is very able to be drunk. Oh wow! Someone chipped this thing. Lamma Island is you're able to drink water on Lamma Island. But like anywhere in the city, and especially in the third world, you need to boil it because it's not so much it's not so much that they do a bad job. It's just that there's just too many people, and the water is recycled to preserve water. It's recycled. California had a drought, and if you have played the SimCity games, you know how much of a bitch it is to build. Always have to be constantly building water towers, having to build water pumps as the city grows. The city won't grow if there's no water. So we'll show you how to do the dishes the Lamma Island way. When I was taught to preserve clean water. Now Lamma Island, Hong Kong gets most of its water from China, from Shenzhen. And you can actually see that there are pipes, not underground, but over land, that lead towards the city of Hong Kong. That's where water comes from. Water is, like I said, it's very drinkable, but you might want to boil it. That's the old scout way. That's an old scout trick as well. Boiling your water, throwing in a couple iodine tablets. The iodine won't kill you, but it's not necessarily healthy. But everyone who's ever went swimming knows how caustic this chemical is. Your eyes turn red. You can actually, even when upstairs when I'm taking a shower, you can actually smell the chemicals. But you'd rather have that than have cholera, right? Cholera is basically you're drinking poo water, garbage water. Speaking of which, maybe this afternoon we'll also go to see if Calgary Transit is going to get to our little polite request to help clean all that garbage. Remember, it was raining yesterday. Yesterday it was raining, and I put my hands foolishly into the pool water. That is essentially cholera. These little buggies go in your stomach, and you have to poo them out. One important thing about living in another country, if ever you people want to be an ESL teacher, the first 2 weeks you guys are going to be puking, and even in a clean city, you guys will be puking and pooing your guts out because it's not clean. But see, it's not clean, so we want to. It's not clean. A little hint of how we're going to do our dishes. Just a little coffee cup. Okay, so remember how I just over there I turned on the water and I quickly turned it off because I realized that that's not what we're supposed to do. That's how most people wash their dishes sometimes. That's how I did it in Hong Kong until I went to the pastor's church and I was doing dishes for the church. And then she said, she corrected me. She showed me a way where we serve water instead of having it go shh like that. It's a force of habit. Sometimes I have to really remember myself. So what we need is hand soap and water. So we're going to put very little water here. Instead of washing it while the water is running, maybe that should be enough. That should be enough. Instead of having to go up there, we just have little water here. I'll show you guys why in a second. Because all you need is one little tiny drop. Instead of going like ketchup, you just go boop. See? Maybe boop. See? Very little. I'll show you why. Turn on the water again. Put your hand over it. And look how sudsy that gets. And turn it off again. Add a little bit of warm water too, so it cuts the grease. But this stuff is very, very caustic. So maybe you have to wear your gloves. See, I'm smelling it from up here. So here's a way of preserving water while doing dishes. You just grab your sponge. Grab your worst sponge actually for the actual grunging stuff, the greasy stuff, and you just go around and around and around and around. That's it. Take a little bit of water over there, around and around and around and around. This works well. Maybe I'll make some. Maybe another day I'll make some really greasy shit. Some Chinese, some ramen noodles. And then we have to clean the frying pan. This is just Jello pudding, but we want to show you how this works on greasy shit too, right? See, look at all the suds. They just totally eat up that dirt. The water's turned off as usual. Now see, it's already clean. Just put it back in there in the clean pile. This is the milk cup that we just used. Don't even need to scrub. You're ready. Just run it. See? Even this is just too much water. I have some food. I have some bits of rice attached to this spoon, so I'm gonna put my hand down for a second. Now, for long parts like this is an interesting hack. Just go like that. Instead of going with the water running, just grab some water. Make sure it's all wet. The water's in your hand still, like that. See? Again, we're preserving water, we're preserving soap. Remember how very little soap we have? Instead of going... And here, this is how she told me about doing the dishes. You can also, or not dishes, but chopsticks. See, the water's starting to slowly get dirty now, but still very clean. That's the way to preserve water while doing dishes. That's the Lamma Island way. That's the way I was taught in Lamma Island. Because like Toronto, like Toronto, like Vancouver, it's very humid. So, but oddly enough, water is very, very fragile there. Water ecosystem. And look, the water's still usable. Just a few little drops instead of going. That's it. Now here, unfortunately, we have to use water. To make suds, you can also go like that with this little sprinkler thing here. So just turn on full cap. Just remember, this is just a little trickle. Instead of wasting more water. See, you can also do this in the middle here, where you get cold and lukewarm water. Hey, what's that? It's turning hot. Yeah, lukewarm water. Careful not to really wrench on this thing. These things are very fragile, actually. This house has been here for about maybe 20 years. Let the water run itself, of course. Don't need to use hot tools. Now, maybe this is maybe here in Alberta or Canada, where we have maybe 4% of the world's water. This is not maybe it's just condescending, but it's not. You want to preserve that 4% of water. As the population grows, more water, more people, more pooping every day, so water's being used. Preserve every drop. It's very valuable. In Israel, in California and Israel, this is very, very rare. Hell, on Dune, on Arrakis, from Dune, this is very, needed device. In fact, water is a currency on Dune. When you die, your water gets recycled back into the community. Your vaporized gets recycled back into the community. See? You never have it. Preserves water, preserve the cheap, don't have to, this thing can last a very long time. As for dishes in here, the usual, like we learned as children, just fill this up until the brim. Because we're Chinese, we tend to find that our rice goes everywhere, and then we have to prick it off when it's clean. And here this is done already. All right, so that's recycle. That's environmental 101. In case you in case you guys go to Hong Kong and China, Japan, and or wherever. You guys want to expat to be ESL teachers in Korea or Japan? Japan, you guys will actually see how very, very nature observant they are, because they live in such a small country. They want to preserve such the very, very little natural parks and wonders that they have. So like I said, houses like this is very expensive in Japan. This to be a mansion actually means you're well-to-do. Most people in Japan live in apartment buildings. So that's it. That's preserving water. You may have to add a bit more water if you're doing Thanksgiving dishes and something big like that. Back to my study workshop, my recycle pit, and that's that. That's preserving water. The Lamma Island way. Oh, I always often speak of Lamma Island, so I'll show you where Lamma Island is. I'll show you why this water is such a valuable commodity in Calgary, or in Hong Kong. This here is Lamma Island in Japan, or in Hong Kong. Google Maps. Now, the water situation could be solved in... See? The problem about Hong Kong is they have this big pit of humans here. This is an impassable mountains there, so therefore they just use it as a nature park. See? They have very little clean water. So if you go to this kind of map, they'll show you the bodies of water. As you can see, you cannot drink this. This is salty water. It could be Hong Kong could build a desalination plant, but that takes a lot of energy. But the nearby in Shenzhen City, they have a nuclear power plant in Daichan Bay. Daichan Bay. So they have a nuclear power plant there. But all this is just basically mountains and stuff. The water comes from basically here in Shenzhen and is piped through here somewhere. Somewhere Dad said. But on Lamma Island, as you can see, there are no potable water. So the water is supplied by a reservoir here. So therefore, water is very valuable on this island, especially if once you boil it. Once you boil it, then you can drink it. So therefore, water must be conserved any way you can. But you know, you go to Calgary and type in Calgary here. See, we got a lot of water. We got a lot of water. We got a big water pit right there called the Glenmore, and Glenmore has actually upgraded itself in the past few years, in the past year or so, to add more water to it. But always take care of the water supply. I mean, always take care of the water supply. It's needed by every living thing on this planet. Anyways, thank you for watching our show. That's us doing dishes.